Dark Cat. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
Welcome to Creepy Tapas,
where we do the opposite of deep dives and bring you tiny tastes of terror connected by a common ingredient.
True stories to haunt and chill you and the pop culture they inspired.
Or at least the movies and books that remind us of them.
Join us as we descend into darkness,
beginning with the lighter side of our weekly topic,
and wrapping with a full dark, no stars account of terror, madness, murder, and more. It's Creepy Tapas, y'all.
Disease, decay, and rotting bodies in the streets. That was the landscape of 18th century Paris. Far from the city of love we know today, some bright minds and hard workers had to come together during some troubling times to flip the script of Paris's nasty vibe. It's a story of progress, of foresight, and a bit of macabre interior design. It's the story of the Paris Catacombs. What truths lie beyond the imagination in a world where reality is often more horrid than fiction? Come along, ghoul fiends, as we descend into darkness on today's episode of Creepy Tapas! Greetings, ghoul fiends. It's me, Ash.
And I'm Jordan.
Bones, bones. Without you, I'd be silly potty bones. A mass of muscles, nonsense tissue floating in some blood. Bones. I love you, bones. Bones, I love you, bones. If you could love me back, you would.
Would they?
I think so.
Okay. Well, they do support us, so.
They do. They're, my bones have been the most supporting presence in my life.
I mean, probably same. Same.
They're always there for you, holding you up. Unless, of course,
you break one.
Well, or if you're a listener who was born with no bones.
Oh, it's fine. Because today is an ode to bones.
Today is all about the people who love them, the people who wore them, and the people who put them on display, and the folks who peep at them. Bones.
Them bones.
But before we get started, how's your week been? I want to check up on ya.
It's been fine.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun, been pretty exciting. We have some, we're going to do something really cool tomorrow.
Yeah, we are. We're going to go to the movies.
We are. Matinee, bitch. We're going to go see Skinamarink.
Skinamarink, dinky dink.
Skinamarink doo.
That's what it reminds me of every time. In this house.
In this house. Skinamarink dinky dink.
Right? Every time.
Well, this, experimental horror flick by Edward Kyle Bell. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I did see the short film that it is based on, and was very disappointed several weeks ago. But this is a feature length, and I'm going to see it how it was meant to be seen in a theater, in the dark creepiness of a theater.
With me.
With my best friend. And if it sucks, then we'll just make fun of it the whole time. We'll probably be the only ones in the theater anyway. Boo.
I mean, maybe. You never really know. Not a lot of people in my town are going to be interested in that.
Yeah, it's only playing this weekend.
It's only playing in my town, which is weird.
What the hell?
I know. It's weird. It's like the smallest small town theater ever.
I was even going to go to the theater across the street from my house that I don't have like the free ticket passes for, just to I was like, fuck it, I'll pay for it. They're not even showing it. Nobody's showing it. I'm like, what?
Well, son of a bitch. Just come over to my neck of the woods and we'll watch a movie in my shitty theater.
I am going to my back is going to hurt so bad since I'm not
I know, because there's no recliners and heated seats and whatnot. They're the peasant chairs.
Am I going to have to bring like a blanket? Like, how do you, what if it?
Probably. And some snacks.
So, but no, I'm really excited to see that. And even if it's garbage, we're still going to have a really fun time. And we will definitely be talking about it on our next episode. We'll throw you guys a little quick review of Skinamarink.
I watched the menu this week. The menu, guy. Oh, so good. I didn't guess any of it, which I love movies like that. Like, I don't want to guess what's going to happen. And I didn't. It was good.
No, it was great. It's really hard to surprise me anymore because I've seen so many and I can't help sometimes but try to get ahead of it. Like I always do.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Like just logically kind of figure it out. I'm not an idiot. And it's not because
I'm trying to ruin the fucking movie for myself. I just can't help but be like, oh, this is.
Well, see, I think in a lot of scenarios, it's like I've seen so much like cop shows and true crime and, horror movies and bullshit. So like I always try to say, how would I get out of this situation?
Yeah.
And then I like work through it in my head. And sometimes the way I would have worked through it in my head is the way the movie goes.
There you go. What was it that I saw? Oh, I saw Darren Aronofsky's Mother this week. It's been out for a little while. I guess he did it in like 2017, but holy shit. Like
I don't think I've seen that.
I will never forget it. I think that in all the worst and best ways, like it really was, it's affecting. It really gets you guys. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I think I'm going to try to convince Jordan to do 2 movies of the month for Mother's Day.
And just so we could do that one too.
It's a really divisive movie. And we said movie of the month would be like divisive and controversial titles.
I'm good with that.
It's a really fucked up movie.
We can cram all kinds of shit into May.
Yeah,
it's
hell
full
yeah.
of Mama Month.
Mama month.
Love your mom and fear them.
Love your mother and fear her like the omnipotent being she is.
That's right. Okay, so anyways.
So today we are discussing the catacombs.
The bones.
The bones.
All of the bones.
Them bones. Always there for you. Always supporting you. So
they got your back.
Catacombs. So counter to what period romance novels present, people back in the day were unhygienic.
They fucking stank.
Yes, just poop all over them and dirt and more poop.
Do you know that's why they started like your men would give women flowers? It's because everybody stank and they were trying to like give you something that smelled nice. So you would smell that over their funk.
God.
For real. That's why bouquets started. That's why men gave women flowers. Like, bitch, I stink. Smell this flower.
When they were covering up their syphilis scars with like the rouge.
Yeah, why not?
People have been lying about their nastiness to try to have sex with somebody for years. It turns out,
I mean,
just fucking cover up your nastiness, give a bitch flowers, be like, yo, that pussy stank as fuck, but baby, I'm still willing to go and have an adventure. You know what I'm saying?
Gross. Want to have an adventure.
Go spelunking
down in your catacombs. Stick my bones in your catacombs. Okay, seriously though.
People back in the day were fucking pigs, and Paris, France was no exception. Paris in the 18th century was the second largest city in Europe after London, with a population of about 600,000 people. It was one of the largest prosperous cities in the Western world, and it stunk like absolute pig shit.
And death.
Yeah, just piles of death. Suffering from its own growth and overpopulation, the cemeteries overflowed with bodies. Imagine that, walking by
overflowing like a tsunami of bodies.
Do you know what I saw on my way to work today? The cemetery is fucking full of bodies. The city is trash.
What's overflowing?
I went to my grandfather's funeral last week. They just threw him on top of somebody else.
It's just a pile. Twas some bullshit.
This is not a French accent anymore.
No.
I'm not sure what combination of Eastern European.
Mine's just aggressive.
Nonsense. It's just, Jordan's definition of French accent is just aggressive.
Just aggression.
Like, I'm French.
God, I swear these late night ones are hilarious.
These late night ones.
Fucking idiots at this hour.
We always need to record at like midnight from now on. That's like the rule.
I guess. Bunch of fucking idiots.
But yeah, the groundskeepers, they couldn't keep up. And frankly, there wasn't enough land for it. So the stink of this rotting and decaying flesh eventually reached epidemic proportions, like the chicken factory down the road from
Oh, God.
At. Yeah.
I swear this town's so nasty. They got a friggin' chicken kill factory in the middle of town, and that shit smells like fucking sewage and death in the summer. You can smell that shit for like miles. God, it's awful.
Yep. I've got a business that I operate like 2 blocks away from it, and it gets in. Like I'll be in. I'll fucking smell it. Like
the death seeps in.
Yeah,
it'll
I'll have clients in and I'll be like, sorry,
the chicken factory's down the road.
Yeah, hot chicken guts and shit. Sorry about that.
Our bad.
But it makes like all of downtown just smell like that.
Which is probably what France smelled like.
But it was probably
God.
that times like 1,000,000 because you had dead human bodies like just rotting in the sun freely.
Well, yeah, and those dead chicken bodies aren't rotting in the sun.
No.
It's probably quite a bit worse than that. It's so nasty.
The smell was terrible. And the really, really, really like awful thing about it was that it was right down the street from this main food market in this place called Le Hall, which was a major, major public health hazard.
They were next to the cemeteries with those overflowing bodies.
So they knew they had to do something. And I doubt when the idea was pitched, anyone ever imagined that the end result would be a legendary Paris underground. And it actually fixed two problems. So we'll get into that in a second. Someone had their thinking cap on, and this incredible feat of genius mixed together with just nasty, hard, and initially thankless work would turn the city from the pit of everlasting stench into one of the most tourist-friendly and desirable cities in Europe. Oh, the city of love. Oui, oui.
Oh, oui.
We actually really like you guys. We're just having fun with a really bad Americanized French accent. Sorry. The cemetery that we're talking about is one of the largest and most historically significant cemeteries in Paris, the Cemetery of Innocents. Corpses from 22 parishes were buried there, including the remains of those who died at the Hotel Dieu, plague victims, and various unknowns who drowned in the Seine, died on the roads, or were crippled at the nearby crossroads of the Court of Miracles. This was a total of about 2 million Parisians at the time of its closure.
Damn.
2 million.
Overflowing.
Fuck. So under the reign of Philip II, and this is going back like beyond America time to 1180. So way, way back in the 1100s, he commissioned a 3-meter high wall that fully enclosed the cemetery.
I mean, we still solve problems like that now. Just build a fucking wall. It smells. Put up a fucking wall.
Just put up the wall. It's fine.
It's fine. Just put
The
the fucking
smells
wall
won't
up.
get over it.
No, nothing else will either. Keep it over there.
Listen, it's like 10 feet tall. It's impenetrable. He had a 3-meter high wall.
Problem solved.
And the whole cemetery was enclosed in it. He wanted to limit outsiders from coming in, and he wanted to separate it from the nearby food market. So he was kind of trying to, create a different vibe. He was like, look, you can buy your food, and no longer do you have to look at the stinking pile of your dead grandparents laying in the open.
But if you'd like to, I may grant you entry.
There is a door and you are welcome.
Well, it said limited outsiders.
Limited. So probably people mourning the dead. Les Innocents had begun as a cemetery with individual sepultures, but then had become a site for mass burials. People were buried together in the same pit, and only when it was full would another one be opened. So the pits would hold up to 1,500 bodies.
Oh, God. Could you imagine a fucking open pit with just 1,499 rotten bodies waiting on that last one? Gross. We need one more before we can seal it up.
No, Pierre, we must have 1,500. That is capacity. He is a fat one. He counts for 2. We said that little one only counted for a half.
They cancel out each other.
Yeah. I guess people must have been like, by and large, just the same size. And they were like 1,500,
It's how many fit?
Ballpark. But that's a lot of fucking bones, yo.
That is a lot of bones.
In the 14th and 15th centuries, the citizens constructed arched structures called cheniers or charnel houses along the cemetery walls to relieve the overcrowding of the mass graves. Bones from the graves were then excavated and deposited here. So it was sort of like a safety deposit box for the bones.
A bone suppository. No, depository, not suppository. Depository.
Hey, baby, I got a bone. You can use as a suppository.
I know, right? Now we know what the catacombs are.
So a charnel house is a vault or a building where human skeletal remains are stored. They are often built near churches, and you just put the bones in there while you're digging graves. So really it's kind of like a holding area. It's like a green room for the dead.
A green room.
It's where they go while they're waiting.
Why would you deposit the bones into this thing and then still dig a grave?
The original purpose for them was not to hold overcrowded bones from cemeteries. It was like
New bones.
Temporary housing for interment in the future.
Oh. Oh, my bad.
The term is also used more generally as a description of a place filled with death and destruction. You could call America.
Well,
Official orders by Louis XVI to move the parish cemeteries out of the city were resisted by the church, which was operating from money earned from burial fees. So, I mean, other than not having the land, but that was another reason why, there was some overcrowding. They were earning all their money from charging people for burial fees. They needed to reduce the number of burials. So they did that simple supply and demand. Right. So they raised the price of burials. So after a prolonged period of rain in the spring of 1780, the conditions of this just became untenable. They couldn't live with it anymore. And I can't imagine how fucking disgusting in the spring. That means that they were wet in the fucking summer. Like then the summer heat came and it was just like baking wet bodies. Yeah.
That's nasty.
Well, in the fall of 1780, September 4th, a order forbade burying corpses in Les Innocents and in all other Paris cemeteries. Louis XVI was like, nope, we're done. I can't be nice and just be like, hey, you handle it. You know what the right thing is to do. You're just basically going to fucking keep extorting the people for money, and like just burying people on top of people. Fuck you. We're not doing it now. So yay for a strong ruling hand. So once you include the rest of the city in with that 2 million in Les Innocents, the body count comes to roughly 6 million sets of remains that needed to be disinterred and reburied somewhere else. So given the religious nature of the burials, they couldn't just dig these people up and throw them around wherever. They actually had to be reburied with a ritual. And so what the fuck, like 6 million bodies, like
who's doing all these rituals?
Come on, y'all. It is a lot. It took a lot of people too to get the whole thing together because they did it. I mean, they did it. They got it together.
Obviously they got it done.
Paris luckily sat directly above 200 miles of limestone tunnels that had been carved out to provide the stones that they built the city with. So they kind of fucked up when they did that because they dug up the whole underground of the city, which was limestone, which is already pretty soft.
Yeah. Worried about having some cave-ins, some sinkholes.
Exactly. And that's exactly what started happening. The tunnels were so extensive that by the 19th century, the weight of the city above was creating massive sinkholes, and entire buildings and blocks were just collapsing into them. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Yes. Do you remember when they were building that new Walmart over that cave and the fucking floor fell in? Mm-hmm. They had to delay opening because my whole town sits on a cave system, and any minute we're just going to fall through the fucking ground. They don't give a shit. They keep putting more shit on it. I don't care. One day I'm going to be in the ground.
Oh God, Jesus.
One way or another.
Get out. Leave that devil town.
No. I like living on top of a cave. It's dangerous.
Oh my gosh. Well, in 1777, the king's architect, Charles Axel Guillemot.
I just love that his name is Axel.
Yes. So did I. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's my sweet little boy's name.
Charles Axel was given the unenviable task of stabilizing the entire underground mineshaft system so the city wouldn't collapse into itself.
Yeah, no pressure.
Make sure you do it right, friend, or else we're all going to die.
The fate of Paris depends on you.
Despite the size of the challenge, Charles Axel pulled it off without too much contention or fuss. So there you go. By 1785, the tunnels were stable and the remains of dead Parisians were being dug up every night and transferred into them. All 6 million. A priest accompanied every wagon load of remains in order to chant the Catholic Office of the Dead prayer to ensure that the remains remained at peace. Many of the bodies had incompletely decomposed and had reduced into large deposits of fat or corpse wax. During the exhumation, this fat was collected and subsequently turned into candles and soap made from human corpses. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
I'm going to burn this human wax candle. It's going to smell like death, but it's fine.
I mean, look at where they were living. It was probably
I already
better.
Smell like death.
They were like, this will be an improvement. I mixed fucking lavender with it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Fuck it. Okay. There we are.
You know?
Candles and soap.
Well, it took 2 years of nightly work to empty the majority of Paris's cemeteries and relocate the remains in the catacombs. But the transfer of bones continued until 1859. So 74 years. It took them 74 years. Above ground, public works went on hold for a couple years, and the French got busy having their revolution. They executed a lot of people, and Marie Tussaud made a lot of wax figures.
We already discussed this in another one.
Pretty awesome. And then society slowly started to rebuild. When Napoleon marched to power, he inherited a medieval city that was in the midst of this rapid modernization. One of the teensy emperor's key beliefs was that men are only great through the monuments they leave behind them.
Oui, oui.
Given that Rome, which was considered the preeminent monumental city in Europe, already had its highly praised system of catacombs that tourists loved visiting, Napoleon decided that France needed something similar. So he commissioned his prefect of the scene and the inspector general of the quarries to transform the limestone tunnels from the labyrinth charnel house into something that people would actually want to go and see, thus giving the rise to the original Paris Catacombs tours. So it was actually Napoleon who started making it artistic and for people to go, turns it into like a capitalist venture.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Well, the bone decorations were created specifically to attract tourists, and that worked a fucking treat. I mean, I want to go. I would love to check that out. Like today, right now, let's do it. Catacombs.
I think I'm okay. I don't go underground. I don't like it.
Yeah, I might be kind of scared of a cave in. It depends too how narrow those hallways are for me.
Yeah.
Like, how close am I? Is this like a massive, vast cave?
Yeah. Like, is it a big open space?
Or is it like skulls? Yeah,
that would make all the difference. Am I going to be all like claustrophobic-y in there? Or is it like a huge open space where, you're just, because I can go into like a cave. Hell, we took Axel trick-or-treating in that cave.
Sure. I don't know if I would go or not, but it's definitely interesting. It's piqued my curiosity. That's for sure. So this is where it kind of transcends from being just a chilling mass gravesite, boneyard into, there's this ornate pattern on the ceiling that's made of like ribs. There's actually some artistry to it. And if you guys look up the pictures, we'll put a few up on our Instagram. They're fascinating. I mean, it's really crazy stuff to look at if you haven't seen it. So despite the ritual with which all the bones were transferred, they had simply been dumped into the tunnel. So they were like, bless the bodies, make sure they're at peace. And then they just fucking just threw them in, like whatever, like some dirty rags. Slowly but surely, the quarrymen lined the walls with tibias and femurs. They put skulls up to form the basis of most of the decorations that tourists can go look at today. And some of it's done out of whimsy, and some of it's done to convey a deeper religious message about death. They also would arrange bones into cutie little shapes like hearts and circles and death heads.
Yeah, that sounds cute. Precious.
They put up signs that are like commemorative plaques, and they put these arrows in the ceiling. So the first people that visited, they were just seeing everything by the flicker of candlelight, which is a big no for me. They put signs that you could see by the candlelight in the dark tunnel covered in bones, and that way you wouldn't get lost forever.
Okay.
Through these changes and a really clever marketing brochure published in 1810, Paris Catacombs soon gained a reputation as one of the more emotional and macabre quintessential tourist destinations.
I actually might go in it. I mean, maybe not like super deep, maybe just to like the entrance.
Just the tip?
Yeah, just the tip.
Just going to throw my bone in just a little bit.
Just real quick. Just in and out.
Well, some people have even used the catacombs to host parties. Did you go to a catacombs party?
No.
No?
Oh. No, because I would be the one person that like accidentally got separated from a group and lost. No.
It actually sounds like a reasonably good setup for a horror movie to do it during one of they were all illegal parties. Like none of them were officially sanctioned.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't do that.
No, they were just like people fucking going in there to party. Charles X was rumored to hold these really crazy fancy parties in the catacombs, but there's not really any verification on that claim. It's just kind of like one of those rumors, the king's throwing parties in the catacombs.
Maybe he was.
I mean, I would if I was the fucking king. I'd be like, yeah.
Right. Bitch, I do what I want.
Charles X, I'm Charles X, motherfucker. Come to my catacomb party. We're gonna rage, bitch.
Exactly.
He was about it.
He was.
One problem that was caused by all of these visitors, whether they were legally meant to be there or not, was that the skulls started to mysteriously disappear. So
They was taking them.
They grew some legs and ran away, or
Somebody is taking them.
damn old tooked.
Disturbing somebody's grave.
In the beginning, the quarry workers would just replace it with a new skull. I mean, they had like 6 million. They could just, grab another one.
Okay.
Whatever.
Those poor people are not resting in peace if they're all in pieces.
No, Jesus. So, the guys would come over and they'd pop another skull in the line, but eventually they, stopped doing that. So if you go there today and you see a gap in a line of skulls, somebody probably took one home with them as a souvenir. So just saying.
I hope those motherfuckers get haunted.
I hope they get haunted too. That's a real fucked up thing to do, man. That's a real fucked up thing to do.
That is straight up grave robbing.
There's errant disrespect for somebody's resting area. Like, come on, leave someone's shit alone. Dickweed.
Keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Oh my God, that goes back to one of our old episodes. Jordan's golden rules. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. Mind your business. Don't be touching people.
If it ain't yours, don't touch it.
That's right. Leave it alone, including people's bones.
Especially people's bones. God, leave them alone.
Don't be touching people's bones when you're in the catacombs. You should leave them alone. It's their bone home.
It is their bone home.
It's their bone home. They don't want you to touch them. They're happy. Leave them alone, y'all. In order to entice more visitors, because we know, this is all about people visiting and not, honoring the dead. Various exhibitions were installed. So these included a room that showcased skeletons with various deformities. So like a fucking oddities chamber.
Oh, no. Like the freak show.
Yeah. As well as a room displaying the types of minerals that were found when they were excavating the tunnels. So apparently you can't see that stuff anymore. Like it's all, I don't know where it is, but it's gone. So, goldfish were brought in and dropped into a little tiny pool called the Samaritan Fountain. Although the fountain, which collects groundwater, is still a feature that you can see in the catacombs, the fish are long dead because, spoiler alert, goldfish can't thrive underground, you fucking idiots.
They need the sunshine.
Just a little bit. They need the ecosystem that exists.
Up here.
The most enduring of the Paris Catacombs exhibits are a series of stone carvings created by a mysterious figure called Deku. He was a veteran of the French army and spent some time in Minorca when the French annexed the island from the British. When he wasn't helping his fellow quarrymen stabilize the tunnels, he carved faithful renderings of the citadel of Mahon, as well as other important buildings from the island. They're incongruous, unexpected, and not really connected to anything, but fascinating nonetheless. Decure was killed in a rock fall while working in the catacombs, and there's absolutely no word on where he's buried. So who knows, maybe he became another one of those fill-in skulls. So we're going to take a really quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into some movies, y'all. Listen to these ads. Don't skip them, guys. These people are really cool. Okay, we'll be right back.
I'm Jackie Moranti, and I produce a podcast called Cause of Death, 100 Seconds to Midnight. Have you ever read or watched any post-apocalyptic fiction? Were you one of the first people to see The Road or I Am Legend when they came out? Do you wonder if those things could really happen? Could the world as we know it be toppled by a disease, a global crisis, or a natural disaster? I assure you that it could. My show talks about the precursors to apocalyptic events. I like to call it pre-apocalyptic nonfiction. I talk about history and how we never learned from it, the present and how we tend to ignore every warning sign, and the future and what it will mean if we don't take care of our resources. The hands of the doomsday clock have been set at 100 seconds to midnight for 3 years now. Can we make the hands turn back? Cause of Death, 100 Seconds to Midnight can be found wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Ash.
And I'm Jordan.
We host Creepy Tapas on the Darkcast Network. On our show, we serve up tiny tastes of terror, true stories that haunt and chill. So you can imagine our tastes are a little on the darker side. That's why when I'm looking for the perfect gift for my super spooky friends, or something unique for myself, I get all snuggled up, head online to shop at Batwings and Butterflies.
Batwings and Butterflies is an independent, creator-owned boutique of handmade knit creations. Some are wild, some are dark, but all are sure to please even the hardest person to shop for.
You'll find baby Baphomets, super giant stuffed tarantulas, blankets, plant hangers, water pipe cozies, and so much more. All items are original works of art by a talented artisan.
Support small businesses and order your one-of-a-kind creation today.
Find Batwings and Butterflies at batwingsandbutterflies.bigcartel.com or on Instagram at batwingsandbutterflies. I'm in love with this fucking pizza blanket so much. I need this pizza blanket. It's incredible. Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen?
Ooh, yeah, it really is.
Isn't that fun? And look at that baby Baphomet.
Oh, I love my little stuffed Baphomet.
You get 20% off your first purchase at Batwings and Butterflies. Just type in the code DARKCAST20 at checkout and tell them Creepy Tapas sent you. Mwah.
Whoa.
Mwah. Batwings and Butterflies, Batwings and Butterflies.
Get your creepy shit.
Get your creep on at Batwings and Butterflies.
Me.
We're really good at ads.
Are we?
Goofies.
Way back. Hey.
I have not seen any of these movies.
Oh, word.
None of them. I haven't even seen As Above, So Below.
I have seen that one, and I think that's the only one that I've actually seen. I found one on an ossuary, but it's a cultural documentary short film.
Catacombs is a 2007 psychological thriller directed by Tom Cocker and David Elliott. Well, the movie follows Victoria, an uptight and paranoid woman who goes to Paris to visit her sister in grad school. The very first night, Victoria's sister convinces her to go out to a party with her and her friends underground within the catacombs. I'll tell you what, that's not a good idea. They go to this party that is, I'm assuming, illegal because, as we've discussed, these are not officially sanctioned parties down in the catacombs.
It's a no-no.
So at this illegal party, they all end up in a private room where the host tells the story about this cult of the Black Virgin, a cult started by devil worshippers who through incest gave birth to the Antichrist. That's fucking spooky.
Right?
Don't be kissing cousins making Antichrists now. Well, supposedly this Antichrist still lives in the catacombs, killing all who crosses his path. And it sounds like an urban legend. But when Victoria gets separated from the rest of the group, she can't shake the feeling that she's being chased.
Bum, bum, bum.
And if you want to know if she was being chased, you'll have to watch Catacombs. I have not seen it. I cannot speak to how good it is or isn't.
I haven't seen it either.
As Above, So Below. What a weird name for a movie.
It is a weird name, and it's kind of a weird movie.
Is it? Have you seen it?
I have. It's like a found footagey type movie. It's I could be wrong, but I don't think the whole thing was like that. It's like once they go on their adventure, that's when it becomes like shaky footage. Not always shaky, but found footage makes me motion sick. People not holding their damn camera straight, shaking around all over the place, running through the woods, making me nauseous.
It's not my least favorite genre. Like TJ hates found footage. Like it's his least favorite.
I'm not a fan.
It's not my favorite, but I have seen some films that were effective that scared me that were found footage, and so if I'm going to talk about was it scary? Yeah. Sometimes found footage is
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. But I do feel like in a way, because it's overused, it can be very lazy filmmaking.
Yeah.
But people aren't making movies for me.
No, we ain't got to like them.
Yeah. If everybody watched what I wanted to watch, we would all be awesome.
So anyways,
As Above, So Below. This is a 2014 horror thriller directed by John Eric Dodell.
Yep, that's how I'd pronounce that.
Archaeologist Scarlett Marlowe has devoted her whole life to finding one of history's greatest treasures, Flamel's Philosopher's Stone. According to legend, the artifact can grant eternal life and turn any metal into gold. That's pretty bitchin'.
Take some tin and turn it into gold.
So when she hears rumors that the stone is hidden in the catacombs of Paris, she assembles a crew to guide and document her mission. Of course, with their cameras. As the explorers make their way into the depths of the catacombs through the uncharted maze of bones, they discover the dark secret that lies within this city of the dead. A journey into madness and terror, the group have no way of knowing that they were about to enter their own personal hell. Dun, dun, dun!
Yep, that was about it. It was okay. I'm not big on found footage.
We also have Urban Explorer. Have you seen this?
I have not. But there's an alternative title. It's also The Depraved. I found it under both names when I was looking all this up.
So this is a 2011 German horror film directed by Andy Fetcher. Four young international urban explorers meet in Berlin to explore the subterranean relics of Nazi Germany. The destination for their illegal adventure. Again,
illegal.
What does this tell you, children?
Don't do this.
No illegal adventures in catacombs. So through the labyrinth of tunnels, sewers, and catacombs is a special bunker, Führer bunker, or Hitler's bunker, where their local guide has a bad fall, of course. And the explorers accept the help of a stranger that seemed to just appear out of nowhere. Can they trust the help of a stranger, though? Can they? Can they? You'll have to watch to find out. I don't think that they can.
Probably not.
If I was a betting man, I'd say, you gotta die. Hardcore. The Ossuary. The Ossuary is a 1970 short film directed by Jan Skamahar. The film is a cultural documentary and is a voyage inside the Sedlak Ossuary, a small chapel located beneath the Cemetery Church of All Saints in the Czech Republic. It's a 10-minute long nightmare of images that could be compared to the darkest and most pessimistic works in the history of art. The film follows a tour guide telling the history of the ossuary to a group of middle school students on a field trip. It contains approximately 40,000 human skeletons, which have been artistically arranged to form decorations and furnishings. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that one's just a little short film.
Little teensy taste for you.
But the pictures of that Sedlak ossuary are really cool. That's the one with the big skull chandelier in the ceiling. All of the furniture made of bones.
Would you sit in a bone chair?
I mean, no, probably not. I'd be like, no, I might touch it, but that's about it. I'd be afraid I would break it.
I would be, yeah, that would be my main concern is that, like, I don't know, I would fucking put some pressure in the wrong area.
And only if I'm allowed to touch it.
Yeah.
If I'm not allowed to touch it, I keep my hands to myself.
Because, like, our greasy human fingers might ruin them. You know?
It might. You never know. Or our live human grease might bring them back to life. And then we'd have to worry about zombie bones.
No, not the zombies.
Yes, the zombies.
I hate it when my bones betray me.
I know. It's terrible. Or somebody else's bones are betraying you if that's the case.
Well, correct us if we're wrong, listener. But we finding a true crime story. The catacombs, either they just don't talk about things that happened down there. You know, like all I could really find is that a couple people died, like, you know, like that man we were talking about earlier that was.
Yeah, there wasn't really crime stories. It was like weird shit happening or like people getting lost.
Yeah. But people were found, like they got lost and then people would find them. There was a group of teenagers who got lost and they were found. I mean, it's not really that interesting of a.
No, it was like a 16 and 17-year-old boy got lost in the catacombs for 3 days. They were found by rescue dogs. They are now in the hospital being treated for hypothermia.
And severe trauma. Holy shit.
Right in the fucking dark, in the cold, surrounded by bones. 6 million people's bones.
I feel like Stephen King needs to write that. The tale of those boys for 3 days sleeping in the fucking catacombs.
I did find one real cool story, though.
Reddit.
Yes, I found it on the Reddit.
Tell you what, man, Reddit has the best and the worst of the internet. I have found some of the most like disturbing, just bullshittery come out of people's trolling mouths. But I've also seen really useful information and like where I'm like, oh, wow, like or an interesting story like this.
That is true.
So I don't know, like it's simultaneously benign and toxic. Like,
right?
It's got it all, truly.
Okay, so I want to start this story by saying this is a Reddit post from 5 years ago, so I can't definitively say that it is true. It is a firsthand account of a woman who worked in the catacombs in Paris, and something happened to her one night while she was at work. The story is captivating, super creepy, and at least for the purpose of this podcast, we're going to say it's all true. The following is a Reddit post from Baby Bubbles 97 in February 2018.
I want to leave Paris. Please forgive me in advance. I'm not a writer and I don't really know how to use Reddit, but my brother loves it and he told me to post. I'm 21, female, and I was raised in England, but I'm living in Paris. I speak fluent French because my father he's a Frenchie. When I moved over here at the age of 19, I desperately needed a job. I would spend hours and hours going through the local bakeries searching for job ads. Nothing seemed to come up. One day I noticed an ad stating that people were needed to patrol the catacombs of Paris. Some background. The Paris Catacombs started being used as a mass grave in the 17th century because the city was running out of places to store their dead. It is 200 miles long and home to 6 million corpses. Exciting, right? Not for me. I hate any kind of creepy shit, and I'm very skeptical of it all, but I needed money. Paris rent prices are high, ladies and gents. So anyway, I interviewed, passed, and began my job, which was basically to help maintain the areas of the catacombs that are closed off to the public. Well, of the 200 miles, only 1 mile was open for people to visit, but the rest need to be somewhat maintained to make sure that nothing collapses, etc. Another worker, Valentine, introduced himself to me on my first day and said he was assigned to train me up on what my job was. A lot of it involved cleaning graffiti from walls left by illegal trespassers, making sure there were no severe leaks and that the walls were in good condition, no risk of collapsing. Overall, my job covered roughly 5 miles of the catacombs, the area closest to the public. Something important to note is once you leave the public area, it's very easy to get lost. If you're not careful, you could turn the wrong way and never find your way out on your own. Therefore, French health and safety laws state that I must attach myself to a rope at the front door of my work site to help me find my way back at the end of my shift. Once my training with Valentine was finished, he returned to working in the public areas. Before he left, though, I remember him saying, "Watch yourself in these tunnels, okay? Don't forget, you're a trespasser here." Weird, but whatever. I started my job. I surprised myself by not actually finding it weird, being surrounded by millions of human bones day in, day out. I got into a nice routine, arriving at 9 a.m., descending into the tunnel, MP3 player, packed lunch, warm coat, thick boots. There was actually a lot to do that kept me occupied, and I didn't have much time to think about where I really was. Until one day. It started out as a typical day. I turned up in the morning and went to my tunnel. I know that sounds weird. I attached myself to the incredibly long rope and entered, pulling the door closed behind me so the public couldn't enter. I had a heavy-duty flashlight that became my best friend, and with it, I set off to inspect a leak I'd discovered the day before. Headphones in and music blasting, I started my journey, which would end almost at the end of my work zone. I got about 1.5 miles in and paused my music to change songs. In the sudden silence, I could hear Valentine calling my name. Shit, I hope he hadn't been looking for me for long. I turned around to reply and head in his direction when I noticed something. The rope had been cut. There was no sign of it anywhere. Crap, 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 crap. I call out to Valentine in a panic, desperately hoping this was some kind of sick joke he was playing on me. After the 5th time I said his name, I was greeted with laughter. A lot of laughter from a lot of people. It came out of nowhere and filled the whole space. I ran in a blind panic in the direction I had originally came in, dropping my MP3 player, but not giving a damn. I ran for what felt like forever. The sound of laughter surrounded me, almost chasing me, but I knew I couldn't stop. After running for what must have been 20 minutes, I rounded a corner and stopped dead in my tracks. My MP3 player was laying in the middle of the path where I had dropped it 20 minutes before. It wasn't possible. I had run in that same direction and definitely didn't do a circle. These tunnels don't work like that. I slowly approached the player. My breath caught in my throat. I almost reach it when the laughter stops suddenly, and a sound behind me makes me turn around. I turn and I'm faced with something that still features in my dreams today. A thin, long creature was approaching me from the shadows, contorting its body, almost dancing across the piles of bones stacked against the walls. I couldn't move. I felt like I was literally glued to the spot, staring at this thing. Its naked body was impossibly pale. It had a head full of black, straggly hair. Its eyes were white and void of any detail. And it was grinning at me in a way that I knew meant no well. The closer it got, the louder the sounds it was making were. It wasn't Valentine whispering my name. It was this thing. It was chanting. Faster and faster with every move it made until its nose pressed into my nose. I woke up in a hospital, surrounded by worried faces. My parents had flown over from England with my younger siblings. Apparently, the other workers in the catacombs got alerted when I didn't clock out of my shift that evening. And when they went down to investigate, they found the door to my tunnel wide open and the severed rope next to it. A huge search party was launched, and they found me 75 miles away, unconscious, covered in a weird black tar-like substance. When one of the big bosses of the catacombs spoke to me with the police to find out what could have happened, I mentioned the first time I heard the voices and that I thought it could have been Valentine. I was met with a confused face. Apparently, nobody worked there was called Valentine. They asked around the team, and nobody'd shown me around on my first day or trained me. They all assumed my team member had done it. By team member, I mean the person who's supposed to work in the tunnel with me at all times, as per health and safety rules. However, upon research, they discovered nobody'd actually been assigned to work with me. I should have never been alone in those tunnels. I don't know what happened that day, and I haven't been back since. Apparently, whenever maintenance needs to be done now, they send down a team of at least 15 people to do it. One thing that still worries me is this. I closed the door behind me when I entered the tunnel that day. The other workers found it open. For the past 5 nights, I've been woken up to the sound of laughter outside my bedroom window and the sound of my name being chanted. Hungrily creepy.
That is creepy.
So do you believe she met a ghost?
I don't think it was a ghost.
No?
No, it's probably some like creepy, I don't know, person who's always lived down there, like a cave person.
Catacomb man.
Yes, exactly. Probably. Hell, I mean, if there's 200 miles, they couldn't possibly know. I wouldn't go down there by myself.
Fuck that.
I would ask somebody. I mean, I guess she went down by herself because she thought she was supposed to because some ghost boy trained her or whatever. But holy shit, I would have insisted I would went and talked to the manager. Like, I'm not going by myself. I need somebody. After ghost boy was done, I need somebody else.
I don't think I would never go back. Yeah. I mean, well, like she said, she never went back in, right? Like, I would never return to the scene. But I do find it really interesting. Who was that man? And like nobody, like what, and then what? Like, was there any investigating that occurred? Because
what black tar? How did she get 75 miles away?
There's so many questions here. There's so many questions here. I hope that this person knows because we're famous podcasters with millions of downloads. When they hear this,
right? If this was you, reach out.
creepytapas@gmail.com. Or if you're just kind of psychotic and you imagine and you want to lie and say that it was you, like I'll take that email too. I don't mind. Like I'm here to indulge you, crazy. Let's see what you got, you madman. You fucking madman.
Bunch of fabricators.
Fuck. I like the ending of her story that like she keeps waking up to the sound of her laughter. Nah, but then also I'm like, oh, if this is a true story and she is experiencing that, I hope that it's not trauma and like some weird.
Or it like followed her.
Are you alive still, person? When you hear this podcast,
I mean, it was 5 years ago.
Well, look. Baby Bubbles 97. Have they made any more posts? We're launching a full investigation into this.
I actually think they have. I'm pretty sure I found other posts. They're still alive. It's fine.
Oh, okay. They're good. Well, mystery solved.
I think.
Thank God. For an entire 1.5 seconds, at least, I was genuinely worried for their safety. So I'm glad I don't have to invest another moment.
No, I think they're all right.
Good. Excellent. Well, that's our show, Ghoul Fiends. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Thanks, y'all.
We are proud members of the Darkcast Network. You should come to the Darkcast Network. It's the dark side of podcasts. We're amazing, and we have free cookies for you.
You're all the time offering people cookies. Would you like some cookies?
We are really excited about some of the cool stuff this week on the Darkcast Network. If you find them wherever you listen to podcasts, and they play an episode that is from the archives of amazing people who are talented podcasters that we work alongside at the network. And I have a show where I will be interviewing them called Ash Asks. Our first episode is coming out this Sunday, and I interview Jackie from Cause of Death, 100 Seconds seconds to midnight. She is fantastic. You, listener, are fantastic. We love you. Thank you so much for your patronage, even though we still do not have a patron. No, but for real, we see you guys listening, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
For real, thank you. And
it's wild. People in other countries are listening to my dumbass talk.
Crazy. And even if you're a robot, I don't give a fuck. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, robot.
Appreciate
I like robots too. It's cool.
Yeah, it's all right. We're not here to discriminate. I ain't hating you. You know? What's up, robot man? You need some oil? You doing
Need
good?
some oil.
Dash Cam is our movie of the month. And you guys can answer the following question on our Instagram or our email, creepytapas@gmail.com. And we want to know, what was the most disturbing scene for you in this movie? It's a very divisive film. Some people think that the main character is awful and makes the movie unwatchable. Other people say that there's certain tender moments of personal gore that maybe
there is some nasty shit.
Yes, there is some nasty shit, literally. What did it for you, listener? And if you haven't seen it yet, you can watch it on Hulu, where it is now streaming. And I recommend it if you're a fan of odd things, strange movies. It's sort of found footagey.
It is definitely found footagey.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, it's a dash cam sometimes.
Well,
it's not always floating around. Sometimes it's still. But anyway, Jordan and I are going to debate the semantics of that on our Movie of the Month episode. And we would love to read your thoughts on the movie. If you guys watched it and you have a hot take, if you have a question about it that you want me to find the answer to, I've actually been consuming a lot about this movie for the last month in preparation. So I'm excited to share those fun facts with y'all. Give us a shout, creepytapas@gmail.com. Mwah, we love you. You're beautiful. We would love to meet you and kiss each one, but probably
I'm probably not going to kiss you. Sorry. I might hug though. I'll high five.
Yeah, I'll high five. I'll fucking fist bump and blow it up. We'll do it, man. We'll do it.
To do some fancy foot vibe, whatever.
Yeah, I'll blow you a kiss.
Yeah.
Catch it. Hold it inside of your heart.
Stick it in your pocket.
I've got something in my front pocket for you.
Well, that got weird. All right. Well, appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Till next time, Ghoul Fiends. Bye.
Bye.
If you want to keep up on things, you can hit us up on all social media.
All of them.
At
Creepy Tapas.
That's right. We're just Creepy Tapas.
All over the damn place.
Creepy Tapas is a free podcast, and we intend to keep it that way. But if you like what you hear and want to support us, please like, rate, and review. It helps us grow so we can keep serving our tiny tastes of terror to amazing listeners like you.
We would love to hear from you, so send us your personal stories to creepytapas@gmail.com. We are self-written and recorded with production by Freddy Cat Productions, music by Kevin MacLeod, and graphics by Panther Creek Graphics.
Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.